YouTube, what's good? It's your boy, Paulus Harris, aka Crazy Uncle. Hey, guess what? If this is your first time tuning in, go ahead, hit the doggone subscribe button, hit notification bell every time I post some new content. Uh, yes, this is my second show, whatever. And I probably could have talked about it. Matter of fact, I did talk about it in uh, my first show, right? But and I've actually really talked about this subject in previous shows, right? But when I've actually really talked about this particular subject, right? I actually like really, a lot of it. I always gave y'all like, let's just say that a lot of time when I started talking about this, it was almost like episode 4 of the Star Wars movies, right? Where they actually really started off with episode 4, episode 3, or whatever, right? But I actually like really never gave y'all like the start of it, so to speak. So uh I'm actually like really give y'all the start of it. I mean, based off of now I know what a lot of people say, okay, well, how you uh what is your basis? I mean, where uh are you actually really going with this? Right? Well, it's it's actually it's rather simple. Like a lot of it, if not all of it, is actually really based off of the King James version of the Bible, right? Because regardless with any story that anybody may tell, right? They had to get their information from somebody, whether it was verbally told to them or they actually really read it in a book somewhere, right? So here it is. History of the world, right? The way that the crazy uncle sees it, right? So here's the deal. At one point, at one point in time, right? Everybody here was the exact same color. Now I'm not gonna sit up here and tell you what color that was. I mean, I can sit up here and tell you, but it would actually really be the wrong color, right? So everything and everybody is going along. Everybody's living in harmony, right? Everybody doing what the hell they supposed to do or whatever. A little trade here, a little trade there. Nothing wrong with it, right? But then one day something happens. A pregnancy happens, and the end result is nothing. It's not what people expected. Okay? But for the most part, right? Of course, the people involved are going to be in shock, right? But they really don't know. They really don't know what the fuck to do. Because for the most part, who the hell are you gonna blame, right? So so now it's almost like, okay, well, maybe we did something, or maybe we didn't do something, right? After the fact, and this is the punishment, right? And so that happens. Nothing is said or whatever, but we all know shit gets out, But then again, it's now steady, constantly happening on a constant basis. So now now that it's happening on a constant basis, right? One or two things is gonna have to happen, right? We either kill these babies off or we run them off, right? So just because of that, right? And then again, I may be giving up color here, right? Or so-called color, right? But here's the deal. They say white folks, Caucasians, right? They come from the Caucasus Mountains. But my question to y'all is this. How did they get there? Because here's the deal. You got to look at so-called, well, the cat is out of the bag now. But here's the deal. You got to look at so-called white folks the same way that you look at so-called black folks, right? Because a lot of you bastards, and I know I said this, too busy listening to Dr. Leakey, right? And what they say, oh, well, found the first bones in Africa. Okay. Or what is not Africa, right? So you got to be like, okay, where the bones come from? Did you even like, did you go digging and like, here's the first bone. How the fuck you know it was the first bone of a human being? First, that's what you actually got to ask yourself, right? A lot of motherfuckers think that they're just like, okay, well, hey, look, well, he dug, and then he calculated the best way that he could. And I know knowing back then, they did carbon dating back then, right? But like what I've always said, carbon dating only goes back as far as 6,000 years. Anything past 6,000 years, it's a shot in the dark, plain and simple, right? But my thing is this, right? If we travel from our point of origin, I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas, and so for 20 plus years, my home was in the state of Texas. So if I would have died in the state of Texas, let's just say for shits and giggles that I was the first person to move to what is now Texas, I died in Texas. They dig up my shit and be like, oh, guess what? He is the first Texan. Really not thinking, okay, did this motherfucker travel? Right? So to actually really to give a basis, right? So again, white folks, so-called white folks, they come from the Caucasus Mountains. So my question to y'all is this: how did they get there? How did they get there? Were they ran off from another point of origin? Or did they just appear? Right? I'm about ready to say that they got ran off. They got ran off into what is now called the Caucasus Mountains. But just notice these people are not white. These people, they just lack the pigmentation, or what a lot of you so-called woke black folks, melatonin, right? They lack that, but guess what? They listen, we're all the same. But the thing about it though is this: when the fear of the unknown is a motherfucker, right? So that which you that what you fear. Like I said, you're going to do one or two things, right? You either going to kill it or you're going to run it off. Pretty much like how we do rats and roaches today. And anything else that we don't motherfucking around us or our family. So this is what the fuck happened. So they moved to, so they got ran off to the Caucasus Mountains.
Mountain of Caucasus.
Yeah, like with Cat Williams.
Caucasus.
So in either case, so they went to, how you say it?
Mount of Caucasus.
About,
He's a Slavic baby.
yeah,
Mount
of Caucasus, right? So, and then, so here's the deal, right? Here it is that you are pleading your case. You are pleading your case. Hey, guess what? I'm just like you, right? And then the motherfucker's like, ooh, I ain't trying to hear that right now, right? Get your ass out of here, right? Get going. I don't give a fuck where you go.
What? Why not?
I don't give a fuck where you go. But you can't stay here, right? If you ask me to stop and think about it, it is no different than what the fuck a lot of parents do to their children. They feel like, hey, guess what? I can't control you no more. Get your ass out my motherfucking house. And then that be the thing. Look, I don't care I don't care where the fuck you go or what you do. But guess what? You can't do it here, no dog no more. So you mad. You mad. Why my mama put me out the house? And that's on any goddamn level. Why my mama put me out the house? Or why my parents put me out the house? So you mad. And then here it is. You start to think of shit after your ass did calm down a little bit. Right? So you think, well, what's the best way that I can actually really get back at my parents? I mean, great the fact I'm grown now. I'm grown. Do what the fuck I want. Or I'm either grown or I'm damn near grown. But during that course of travel to the, what is it? How you say it again? Baby. Mount of Caucasus, right?
That's a Slavic baby. That's a white baby.
So when you go to the Mount of Caucasus, right? Right? So there's no doing that travel. You mad. You pissed off. But at the same time, you thinking, how the hell you can get back at your parents? So a plan was made. And everybody at the round table or the round boulder, right? They sat there and they talked in that bullshit language. The same language that they talk today, right? And say, hey, guess what? This is how we get back at our parents. This is how we get back at them. And just know that some of them, we're going to punish them so bad, right? That a lot of them are going to jump ship. They're going to cross over and double cross their own. Because they wouldn't listen to us way back in the day. Right? So when you look at it from that aspect, and then you piece together all of this shit that I've done over the years, especially that one show that I did. That one show that I did, I called it a history lesson. Where that, okay, guess what? World War I, World War II is over with. So now it's the Cold War, right? We don't know what the fuck the Soviets gonna do. They don't know what the fuck we gonna do. But in the meantime, guess what the fuck is happening? You get your so-called psychic folk trying to predict when the end of the world is gonna be. Motherfuckers believe it. Then the credit card comes out. Or the buy now, pay later. Right? And then you and all of your infinite wisdom, or let's say infinite ignorance, right? You just really think that the end of the world is going to happen just because these bastards told y'all so. So you take that credit card, you buy up everything, you max that motherfucker out. But when you wake up the next day, after the day that they said that the world was going to end, a big old shit feeling just came across your whole body. Because now you got to pay this money back. But how can you? You didn't quit your fucking job because you thought that your ass was going to be out of there. All right? So, and then you know, and then here's the deal. They throw other shit in there, right? Slavery, whatever, because I'm here to tell you, everybody that is so-called black, right? A lot of us didn't come over here on the boat. A lot of us was already over here, walked over during the Ice Age, right? I mean, you go back now and look at that shit between the USSR and the United States. A lot of it is underwater, right? But let's know that was a bridge. And when it was cold enough, guess what? You walked across that icy bridge, you brought your ass down through Canada, and you settled here. Everybody else, consider that he even made it that damn far, right? Came over by boat. Just like I said, if you made it that damn far, and then if you did make it that far, hell, you were too goddamn weak to do any motherfucking thing. So again, motherfuckers is writing. They writing bullshit because they already know that what the fuck they write today, that a lot of us, we go read it tomorrow. And then we get pissed off because we actually really believe, or some of y'all actually really believe that some of that shit took place. And then you look at your brother, a person that you would never probably, that would, for the most part, you probably would never call your brother, right? Because of color, you're too busy looking at color. But then some of y'all are woke, motherfuckers like, well, hey, look, this is my brother from another mother. Okay, I give you that. But then how many of y'all that actually really say that shit, you really don't know how close to the truth that you really are. So that's the whole spiel, people. Somebody got kicked out the house a long time ago. right? Somebody came up with a plan and they executed it and they came a success. And this has been going on throughout the course of history. And a lot of you motherfuckers out there have yet to catch on, right? These bastards will tell you anything, and you believe it, right? Now, some of it, you can actually look at it, and ain't nobody got to tell you nothing. You can just look at it and tell. But then again, like saying, you're right. You know what? Everything that goes on today, and what are the sayings? Hey, guess what? Ain't nothing new under the sun, right? So you say that, right? But let a lot of you motherfuckers think that y'all will sit up here and say that racism, you'll say that racism existed, it still exists right to this day. But you just said ain't nothing new under the sun. So which one is it? I already told you motherfuckers what it is to be racist. And it ain't a bastard here that is more racist than I am. Because I know all the specifications of the human body. A lot of you bastards don't. A lot of you motherfuckers just go off of color. And as always, it's the wrong damn color. I'm the ultimate racist. I'm the ultimate feminist. I'm the ultimate sexist. I'm the ultimate all of that shit because I know what the fuck the IST means. Or I know what the ISM means. The question is, do you know it? A lot of you females tell me, oh, I'm a feminist. And right to this day, if I ask you, why you come on your period every 30 days, you couldn't tell. You couldn't tell me the real reason behind it. Or why it takes you 9 months for a child to be born. You couldn't tell me the real reason behind it. You can't tell me why you got titties. Can't even tell me why you got a vagina. and just know this, don't be like, oh, because I'm a woman. Okay. Are you a woman or are you a womb man? Meaning that you come from me. It's all the game, people. Motherfuckers create words. Just like with my man, what his name? Neely, whatever, the hip hop cartoon guy. He said words really don't have no meaning until you give them a definition. Right? Every word that we use right to this day has been created. A lot of these words don't have goddamn definition. Just like racist, feminist, sexist, all of it. It really doesn't have a true definition. So these words, for the most part, are very powerful. But this is the history of the world, people. Everything has a start off point. I don't give a fuck what it is. Everything has a start off point. Now, when and where that start off point actually really happened is up to us. Don't motherfucker listen to motherfuckers like Dr. Leakey. Hell, don't even listen to me. Right? But at the same time, all what I'm doing is this. And I don't want y'all motherfuckers thinking, oh, well, he doing that Dane Calloway thing. Guess what? I was doing that before I even came on YouTube. Hell, I was doing it before the internet. Hell, I was doing this shit when I was, as the young folks say, when I was a little bitty. So don't try to doggone compare me. I hate motherfucking comparisons. You know, not to say that there's people out there that actually really outdo what the fuck I'm doing. I already know that's the case. Right? You may actually really, and then to really outdo somebody, right? That's really, you have to really, okay, well, what does it actually really mean to outdo somebody? Does it mean that meaning that I can study you, right? Do the same thing as you, right? But I'm doing it a little bit better, right? But is that really outdoing that certain individual? Because for the most part, you don't know what he or she or they were thinking about when they actually really accomplished that goal, right? And then when did they accomplish it? How did they accomplish it? How they actually really accomplished it, right? Because a lot of the shit that we have today, 9 times out of 10, they didn't have it back when they did it. So you really can't say that, oh, well, I guess what? I outdid you. No, the fuck you didn't. So, like I said, people, as the crazy uncle, and for the most part, I actually really don't consider myself so doggone crazy. I just actually really tend to look at it like how nobody else will actually really even think about looking at it. So if that makes me crazy, then hey, by all means, I'll be that crazy uncle, right? Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But my thing is that I just wish that a lot of people will actually really stop and think about what the fuck is actually really going on and how long it's been going on. And just know that, okay, well, guess what? Everything has a start point, meaning that there was a first. And then how you actually really dealt with that will actually really determine how things are actually really percepted of how people actually really take in things today. Right? You know, what actually really went down for all of this shit to actually really take place. Just like what I said. Somebody got kicked out of their motherfucking house a long time ago. Before any of us was born. They got kicked out the house. They created their own shit and they ran with it. It's open. So my whole day, my whole thing is this, people. I always ask motherfucking questions. Ask the question. Ask the serious question. Cause I'm just telling you what the fuck was told to me long time ago, right? There's no there's no such thing as a stupid question or a silly question, right? So ask it. So ask it. Plain and simple. Ask the motherfucking question. Ask that question to somebody that you feel that has a pretty good idea of what the fuck is going on. Don't just ask this question to somebody, any old body. Right? Ask it to somebody that, for the most part, you can look at and be like, okay, that makes sense. So with that being said, hey, guess what, people? Tell your mama, tell your daddy, tell Big Dad, tell Big Bertha, your uncle, your auntie, your grandma, your papa, motherfucker next door, across the street, around the corner. Paulus Harris, a.k.a. Crazy Uncle. Till next time.